So, let me tell you about my events. If you want to come to Romania next week, there is one single room left and 2 female sharing room places left. So there's a place for 2 females in a triple room and 1 single room left. This is it. So that is the 30th to the 6th of August. And then there's a talk in Bucharest, Romania, 4 to 6 on the 6th of August. And then a 14-day intensive retreat in southern Spain, Tuesday the 18th of October to Tuesday the 1st of November. Then weekend talks in Milan, December 2nd to December 4th. Then India, December 30th to December 20th. So I'm going to be spending 3 weeks in Tiruvannamalai, where I'll do a talk every morning, and you can come and join it. Okay, so you can find all of that on my website, which is just my name. So just type in my name and that will all come up. And if you want to ask me a question, then you have to ask me a question through Skype, which is Lisa Cairns 12. It's Lisa Cairns 12. And I do these Ustreams every Sunday at 5 p.m. UK time and Wednesday at 7 p.m. UK time. But check my website because sometimes I am away on retreats. Sorry. So today, when I was having my toenails done in the nail shop, it occurred to me that when I was watching the lady do my nails, that most people don't want to be the nail lady for their life. Like, they look at themselves and they think about their life, and they don't think that they want to be a nail lady for their life. And this is how we always live. We always live in this momentum of thinking of ourselves and what we're doing and putting it into time and thinking, I do or don't want to do this for the next 10 years. I can or can't imagine myself like this. So rather than what we're actually doing, we look at ourselves in a timeline constantly. Hello!
Hello!
You see, you feel good, right?
What?
You feel good from doing it.
Oh, it's hard. Oh, look at my washing.
Yeah, just to keep the door open, it keeps shutting.
No, I didn't put iron in.
Oh. Just reminded me we're missing a dog. Cassidy, I don't know if you watched before, there was a big dog that barks a lot. And I've been looking after him when my parents were away for the last month. And he barks, he's got the big bark. And when the phone rings, he howls. He's the big black dog. He died on Sunday. So just now when I was looking down at Khaleesi waiting to see my mum, I just realised that he was missing. He is absent. No more Cascas. So when I was at the shop, I was thinking most people wouldn't want a life like this. So they comprehend their life, or they believe they comprehend their life, and then they think about what they would like instead. And because of the way that we function, most of us think of a life with lots of money, or high riches, or being famous, or being really successful at what we do, maybe a writer or an artist or a business person. Maybe imagine ourselves winning the lottery. And this is so common, this is every day. This is the way everybody sees himself. They see themselves in a timeline. And this becomes a reality. It's like at school, when we're doing something, or when we're growing up, we're always thinking about what we're going to be and what's going to happen. And how different reality would be if, rather than the thoughts were about what's going to happen or what you're going to be, it was just what was happening. She was simply doing the nails. Rather than judging herself, so she put a judgment that this job's maybe not good enough. It most probably doesn't pay enough, to be honest, in the UK to live. So on that regard, it's valid. But she most probably, and I might be completely wrong, but she most probably judges herself, so she thinks of other people in society, and she has this energetic sense of other people being higher than her, and she's lower. And she has an imagination of wanting to be higher and wanting to get there. So what's happening isn't appreciated. What's happening is a means to get somewhere. And we start this at such a young age. We start this at childhood, and then it grows and grows and grows. And then we just always are living in that timeline. We're cooking dinner, and we're living in the world of imagining eating our dinner. We're queuing to go and see something at the cinema, and we're imagining already being there. We're in a traffic jam, and we're imagining being home. So we always imagine ourselves as something, which becomes an energetic feeling, and then we imagine where we're going to be. And where we're going to be, a lot of the time is somewhere better. So we're always in this idea that we're going to be somewhere better. But sometimes we have the imagination that we're going to be somewhere worse. It can flick, and then some people have more of a tendency to imagine they'll be somewhere worse. And we do this with everything. So I was with my friend the other day, and they were walking around their house showing me it. And as they were showing me their house, they were telling me about their other friend who has a better house. And they were saying, oh, they have these lights up the stairs, and they have this, and they have that. So the whole time, they were living in this other world of what they could have, this comparison. Rather than us just looking at that house, it was all about something else. And it's so amazing to have a house. And if she went to India and went around somebody that was quite poor in India and went around their house and then went around hers would be amazing. But her mind chooses something better. We live in this reality of ourself, and our self is always in time and always seeking in time. It's always about the next thing, about when you get her or when you get him or when you do this. And there's nothing wrong with imagining. Like, imagining is a helpful thing, but it's the fact that we see ourselves in time and we see ourselves in imagination. So this Thai woman that was doing my nails today, I just had the feeling that she was seeing herself as lower than me. Like, just from the way she was treating me and the energy between us. And it's not the case at all. She's absolutely divine as she is. And why is doing somebody's nails any worse or better than being a business person or being a doctor. Why, all of this is meaningless and nonsense. We register some people as better most of the time because they produce more money, but we've made a distinction on what that money is and worth. It's happening, and that's its beauty and its joy. But we've got used to having the chemical high of imagining something better and imagining getting to that. And that chemical high, that imagining, has also led us to hell. Because we're always in a timeline and everything isn't good enough. Nothing, it's dead, it becomes mundane, it becomes bland. The magic is covered up over. The sensation of her touching my feet was heaven. The tickleness, the colour of the blue that she put onto my feet. The smells of lemongrass and terrible chemical smells. What you look for, what you seek for is what is happening. But even in liberation, you're believing that you're going to get somewhere better. It becomes the new destination, the new comparison, the new thing that tells you that this moment isn't enough, this moment is redundant, the next moment will be better. You never escape this moment. This moment is all that happens. You never get to the future, you never grab the past. This moment is all what's happening. This is it. No but, yes but, no but, yes but, I can't feel that, when can I feel that? And that person, yes but, when can I feel that, when can I get that? That person is the illusion. That person that's saying all that is the one that makes this moment feel dead. That's the seeker. Yes but, when can I get it but? This isn't enough but, I don't feel good, I want to feel better. Imagine if you couldn't imagine feeling better. Imagine if there was simply pain and you didn't have any thought processes about having the possibility of better. And the really weird thing is when that happens, heaven shows itself again. In the pain, in what's happening. Yes, but, no, but, yes, but, no, but. Life becomes so incredibly simple, but the divinity is it happening. But the divinity is its simplicity. Hey David, hey Jason, hey Black Rat Dog. come you're still at my mum's? I have to actually spend some time with my parents. They've been away the whole time. But they're going to look after my dog when I do Romanian retreat. Can we talk? But after your intro, please do a long one. Your intros are oxygen. Zia. Sure, Zia. Just a reminder, though, to people, before I call you, just maybe have a question in mind, a little bit. Just remember that I speak to so many people, and if you can get to the point of the question, that makes my job a lot easier. So yes, you can chat and you can try and find your question a bit when we're speaking, but if you can just be aware that, or just be aware beforehand to try to get to more of the root of the question. Basically, you don't need as many words as you think you do. Put in the nice way. Less is more. Okay. So Zia will speak. I'm just going to go through and see who's got questions and who hasn't. Hey, Saket. Hi, Steve. Chroma. Hi, Carl. Yes, you can go next, Carl. Okay, so we'll take Zia now. Hey, Zia.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey.
You're on a big time lag, so I just got from the Ustream. Actually, I don't have a question, and I'm kind of just looking for confirmation from the ultimate place that there really is nothing that I can do, like even putting feelings, like watching the feelings in the body, and I've been really like letting them express and everything, but then when it all just drops away, it's seen that all of that was pointless anyway. And I don't know, there's just like now, because there's re-identification again, I just kind of want confirmation that actually no matter what I do,
Hello?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of want this confirmation that actually no matter what I do, no matter like how much spiritual practice I do, that nothing is actually gonna happen. And if it drops away, it's just gonna drop away by itself. Like that's what my experience has been. But then every time I try and relay this experience to someone, it kind of gets tried to be put back in, yes, but you must inquire or you must do this, and it just, I don't know, it just something feels very shaky with this.
So when you're asking that question, where does the feeling come from? Where does that? So what are you seeking for in the answer for that question?
I just, I mean, I know, because when it drops, I keep myself. I have to cover.
Just let me turn my video off because the internet's not strong enough. 1 sec. If you could just turn your video off, and then we can.
Oh, turn mine off.
Yeah.
Okay.
The internet's not strong. Apparently, they're having problems in the UK.
Oh yeah.
With the internet, just BT or something.
Okay, so I just speak to you like I'm on.
Yeah, just on the phone. Yeah. Hello.
Okay. So say again. Sorry.
So why do you need the answer to that question?
Because I guess there's still some identity that wants to know something wants confirmation from a being that is completely gone, that actually there's no like practice that I can physically do, even though it seems that way in the play, that I needed to go and see these gurus and do all this work and feel the feelings in the body. It seems that way, but actually it really doesn't have any relevance. And that's like what my experience is, but something wants just someone to say like, yeah, that's true.
What will I give you if I say, yes, that's true?
Relief, because the relief is felt when this seeing happens, but then when I try and get confirmation that this seeing is correct, there seems to be like this kind of like, no, you need to inquire, and it just doesn't. And then I get confused, and then it seems that there's like this believing in the mind, and I need to inquire, and who's inquiring, and it seems like I've done this like vicious circle like almost 3 times now in the space of a year and a half, of like this seeing of there's nothing that I can do, and then this like rebuilding of, oh actually no, there's sadhana to do, there's this to do, you know.
So where did you get the impression that someone said there was nothing you could do? Or that was from your experience?
Yeah, it was like after all of this like trying and doing all of the spiritual practice, and like it was always in a state of suffering, then suddenly it would all drop away, and there'd just be this very clear seeing of there's completely nothing that I can do, it's just going to drop when it drops. There was a very like clear understanding of that, but then after time, like the identity would come back in and kind of like get a hold, and then there'd be this whole starting of spiritual practice again and that kind of thing.
Yeah. This is a really complicated question, because it basically the fake you is asking for relief from me, from its imagined fake me, like you're imagining someone. So you're asking me to help you in the storyline, to make you feel better in the storyline.
Okay.
Which is really, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but that storyline never wakes up.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say to you is your question, you're asking for me to give you an answer of yes or no is not valid. Basically what's happening is, after the awakenings are happening, the mind's coming back and making its drama.
Yeah.
And its drama is, should I or shouldn't I do something? And I don't say that you shouldn't do something, it's just irrelevant. It's not about practicing or not practicing, because there isn't someone there to practice or not practicing, it's collapsing of that. But it doesn't mean that you do or don't practice. Doesn't mean that. It just
seems like, sorry.
It just is a questioning that dynamic that's always trying to get somewhere, and where it believes it's going to get to. So now it's made up this drama in itself and this tension in itself, that it believes that it's got to make a decision about its life, and that it's got to choose to practice or not practice. And if it does or doesn't practice, it may affect the future outcome. And this is suffering. This isn't a valid problem. I know it seems like a valid problem to you. So I presume that you belong to someone maybe like Muji's community, just from the way you're speaking and from the picture that I see on your Skype. And I presume they are encouraging you to practice, and there is a resistance to practice, and now the person is using that as a drama and doesn't know what to do. And really, the whole drama is just the typical human drama. If it wasn't about this, it would be about something else. You have a problem, whether or not to practice. You have one side saying one thing, and you have another side saying another thing, and then you feel you're in relationship to it, and you feel you need to make the right decision in order to secure your future. This is just a typical human drama. This is what plays and films and everything's written on. And then you're asking me to validate you so you can go against the other side.
But it doesn't even seem like that would be possible, because it's like seeing that if inquiry happens, it'll just happen. And even though it's being seen, it'll just arise, like the inquiry will just come out of nowhere, just as if like thoughts come out of nowhere. And if there's a going along with the inquiry, then that seems to just happen like that. And
if somebody's saying to you, you have to practice, then that's what's happening too.
Yeah. There's not like a decision wanting to be made of should I or shouldn't I practice, because the group that I'm with is it's the most incredible, beautiful place that I've ever experienced being. So it's not to do with that, but it's just like the seeing that keeps happening of when it drops, and all the practice that I've been given, it just seems so irrelevant.
Of course, because that you that's been practicing doesn't exist. So yeah, of course it does seem irrelevant, but that's not a drama. You're making it into a drama. To you, it's a drama because that's what the sense of self does. So to you, you feel lack, and you've just made this into the new drama. To be or not to be, to practice or not to practice. It's at it, everything. It just doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Yeah, and
But you feel a sense of fear, you feel a sense of seeking, and then your mind's just got onto a new bandwagon, and so many people are stuck on this bandwagon, which way is the right way, or what's the right thing, or I need to be, it won't make any difference. Even if I validate you and I say, you don't need to practice, that's it, it's not going to end that seeking energy now. It might do, but more than likely, then later on, 2 hours later, you'll doubt that again. Why would you listen to me? Or why would that energy listen to me when that energy's there? What it wants to do is seek. It goes from one to the other.
This is it. I just don't understand, because these thoughts are coming and I can see them and I can see how ridiculous they are, and they're not believed. Well, I can't say not all the time, but a lot of the time they're not being believed, they're just being seen. And an emotional reaction will come in the body, which reacts as if the thoughts are being believed.
Yeah.
And then there's this judgment of, well, why is the body and the energy in the body reacting as if the thoughts are being believed when I can see how ridiculous they are? And it's all to do with this seeking energy.
Yeah.
But there doesn't seem to be any way of
switching it off.
Yeah.
No, it switches off when it switches off.
That's it. And it just drops when it drops. And that's why I'm so confused, because it just doesn't seem that there's any kind of a method enabled to get it to drop, apart from when you're seeing from the true place, and then it doesn't matter if it's there or not.
Well, the reason why there is no method to get you there, because you don't exist, but there's always what's happening, and what's happening is 100% relevant.
Yeah.
So there's always what's happening, but there's no you that can or can't get there. So everything that you think you see about yourself is untrue. So all the kind of it was there and it wasn't there, and I have the awakening and I see that it's not true and this is true, none of that matters. Those are just thoughts appearing in boundlessness, and feelings appearing in boundlessness, and sensations appearing in boundlessness. But we get caught up in believing that one part of that's true and that there's a drama there. It's the reason the mind tries to make a drama is because that's the way society and life has conditioned it, that you are someone and that life is always a drama and that you've always got to struggle against life. This is how we write. I used to be a playwright, so this was my career, and the way that we write TV shows is always built on struggle. So always struggling against obstacles. So this is the way our mind gets conditioned, to always be struggling against an obstacle. So now you're struggling against waking up. And really there's no struggle. Well, there seems to be a struggle to that person that's waking up, but ultimately, from boundlessness point of view, there's no struggle. There is heaven and hell appearing in wholeness, which isn't subject to heaven and hell. But there is heaven and hell in that person, and that person appearing as the opposites in wholeness. And it goes, I like this, I don't like this, I've got it, I've not got it, I have to do something, I don't have to do something, there is a me, there isn't a me. And the whole time, none of that means a thing. And the emotions come, strong waves of feeling like you need to get something, and then that passes. And that knower of everything, that aliveness is there the whole time. But when you're identified, it feels really real. when you're identified with this person, it really feels like there is a drama and a struggle. And notice when you do feel like someone, when you feel separate, and you feel like you can move your attention, notice that underneath all thoughts and actions, there's always a seeking energy to be something and do something. And you're always trying to find a place of stability in thoughts, in what you think. So right now you try to find stability in me telling you there is nothing you can do or there's nothing you have to do. But that thought isn't stable, because that thought will come and go, and then later on you'll think, there is something I can do, then there isn't something I can do. There is no stability in the flow, but yet the aliveness, the beingness, the presence is 100% stable. But nobody can get that, because that somebody is appearing in the presence. That person isn't experiencing presence, so that person can't get that, but yet it's always presence. Identified or not. That doesn't mean listening to these talks doesn't happen. It doesn't mean going and doing self-inquiry and practice doesn't happen. It doesn't mean that the teacher doesn't say you got to do this in order to get enlightened. It doesn't happen. That's what happens. None of this makes sense. Everything we think about, everything we talk about is so ludicrous. It's such an illusion. So whether the teacher says you have to do something or you don't have to do something, or you have to do this to get to enlightenment or not, it doesn't matter. The presence is there regardless. The person runs around the mountain as many times as it's going to run.
I can see this. I can see it's such a drama. When you first said it's a drama, there was something that reacted and was just like, no, I'm not being dramatic. But I can see it. Like, it's so clear that there's just this drama wanting to be had right now.
Yeah. And that's okay. And it's like, it's not a big drama, it's a mini drama. It's not like going and blowing people up or anything.
Yeah.
But it's what all stories are based on. This or that, should be, shouldn't be. It is as it is, and nothing we think about has any relevance. Imagine if we were taught different thinking. But life would be so different. It just is as it is.
Yeah.
And if there's attraction to go and practice, why not?
Yeah.
If that's what you feel like doing.
Because it's no different to going and following a career path. It's just like satsang just cools my heart, and like being in the presence of someone who's awake just cools my heart. And
but more than likely, the result of following a business path is more than likely going to result in money, and the result of following a non-duality is more than likely going to end up with awakening. I mean, we live in an apparent cause and effect world. Even though it isn't ultimately, and then it's seen everything's just arising from stillness. You don't learn to become a ballet player by teaching yourself maths. Not that it's you that learns to do it, it's you that unlearns, but it's sometimes that happens, sometimes there's spontaneous awakenings, but more times than not there's a going and listening to this and intellectually comprehending it in the body, digesting it, and then it's finally seen that there was no one there the whole time. It was simply life happening, and what a joke.
Yeah. But Lisa, right now I can feel this seeking energy of like I mean, it's being watched from, I don't know what, but they're in the body, I can feel it, and it's like in the throat of like out there, it's out there, like something out there is going to complete me. But I've seen it and felt it 1,000 times that it's here, but yet it keeps coming back and rebuilding that it's out there, and I know it's a lie, but yet the body is reacting,
and I'm believing. But that's because I mean, this has been going on for many generations of humanity.
Like, so I feel right now that there's just this like grief coming up, like, and it's just, it's not true, like, but I can feel it in the body as if it's really true, like. Like it just, I just want to go home and stay home. It's so painful, like pretending to be this, but I know that I wouldn't keep pretending if I didn't want to, and I just think like, why did I make this so hard for myself?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing now because it's so ridiculous.
So this is really beautiful. This is what comes out from the body, like these struggles, and none of them are true, but we view our life, we view our reality like this. It's sort of locked in the body, these ideas. That it's, why did I make it so hard for myself? This is so hard. And then when that disappears, it's like a joke, because there's nothing that's hard, but it feels like that when that energy comes up. And it's got to keep looking outside until that energy runs itself out.
Oh, God.
And it is a painful process waking up, because the movement that you've had, the way the rivers run for your whole life and for many generations before you, is to always seek in time. Freedom is in time. And we're going through a massive change in humanity, which is most probably going to lead to a collective awakening. So we're going through this crazy period as humans. All this suffering energy coming up.
And I'm seeing it more now, like, because I've just, like, after being in a relationship, after being single for 2 years, like, when I started this spiritual journey, there was kind of, like, real kind of self-sufficiency of just being completely in love with God and just putting all my love and devotion to my guru and to my God. But now I'm seeing, like, because just started like a relationship, and there's like this energy going outwards to that person of, oh, you can complete me, and it's not true. Like, I know it's not true, and when that energy comes up of like the other person to give me love, it's just like, that's such a horrible feeling, because I know that it can never happen. I know that they can never complete me, but yet that, like, seeking energy going towards them is happening, and there's nothing I can do to stop that energy from, like, going outward towards that.
Yeah. And now when you first started the spiritual practice, the hope and the idealism was on that, and now that begins to get stripped away, because you've always been living in a timeline. This is going to lead me somewhere. This is going to lead me to heaven. Even now with your partner, you don't know it, but that's what the energy underneath believes. And none of it's true. And as that begins to get stripped away and begins to become present, normally what happens is we move away from that. So we move away from a partner, or we move away from the guru, or we find something else which excites us. But it makes and feeds that drip that we're going to get something in time. So we have a partner or a boyfriend, and we begin to spend our days imagining being with them. So rather than cooking or sitting or being on the computer or taking a walk, we're imagining this next pleasure of being with them.
Yeah, it's true. And before, when I wasn't in a relationship, I was so happy to just be by myself, and there was no seeking energy going out.
I'm sure you were in the seeking energy. Although this is part of waking up, you're in the seeking energy that I'm going to get it by sitting here. I'm going to get it by this practice.
True.
And it's that which is the illusion. It doesn't mean that you don't do that, and you most probably had profound couple of years with your guru, but that is the illusion. That very energy is the illusion. It doesn't mean you don't act things out, and I'm sure it'll be really insightful having this boyfriend or girlfriend and seeing these new and different dynamics. But it's that whole dynamic of always imagining yourself as someone getting somewhere. So you imagine yourself sitting at home, and then you're simultaneously imagining yourself being with your partner, or you're imagining yourself getting to God. And none of this is true. That's what's created the suffering and made this moment feel dead, made it feel compressed. But we've always lived in this timeline since about 4 or 5. We've been told you've got to finish school, you've got to complete the day, you've got to do your homework. Always living in that dynamic. You've got to do well in your exams. You have to be popular. So it's always living in the next thing. You have to be a good girl for your grandma or whatever it is. Then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the more this energy grows, the more and more suffering that comes. And the best thing that can happen when you feel you're separate is to continuously explore that energy. like to keep repetitively when you feel separate, because ultimately there is no one there and there isn't someone doing something. But when you feel separate, exploring that illusion rather than keep acting it out. But you'll never want to explore it because the mind always wants the hit of pleasure. So in the middle of feeling anxiety with the boyfriend, it's unlikely that you're going to explore it. More than likely what the energy you want to do is get validation from the boyfriend, from your teacher.
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful because each bit by bit, each bit of you, each time this is explored more and more, it gets chipped away, this illusion. But it is a strong energy, and 2 years of doing all this stuff isn't a long time. If you think of humanity,
Yeah.
and how much energy has gone into creating this illusory sense of I.
Yeah, it's been an intense 2 years.
Yeah. It's beautiful though, all these explorations. Like we get into such a dogmatic way of living, believing our society and money making and production line and being a certain way and looking a certain way is what life should look like, and it's so crazy. Like the way that we live as a society, but we take that as real, and so exploring these types of subjects challenges everything we think we know, and it opens up all types of possibility, all types of different things that could happen. It opens the heart to everything, rather than being closed off and keep following the same way.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, with pleasure. Thank you so much for your honesty. That was really beautiful. I think people will be really grateful for you being so genuine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Lots of love. Bye.
Bye, Lisa.
So just so you guys know, I like those conversations with people. Not that there's conversations I don't like, but the lovely thing about speaking with Zia is the openness. She wasn't trying to be something. There was energies, wisps coming up trying to be something, but every time I pointed it out, there was a collapsing back into that and seeing the not true, the not true. So there was such an openness, and then when her feeling of grief came up, she didn't try to escape it. There was just an expression of it. You become more and more honest. It's fantastic. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Unreal Dream. Hi, Michelle. Oh, there was somebody that I was gonna let speak after Zia. It was Carl. Hey, Carl.
Hey, Lisa. Hello.
I'm not sure how good my internet is.
Okay.
I might have to turn off my video.
Okay, I understand.
But apparently in England, BT had a massive crash today with the internet. So it was been really slow all day, but I don't know if it's still like that.
My question has kind of fallen to pieces after that last answer you gave, because it was very similar, and I was just laughing the whole time because I don't know why.
It's crazy, the matrix of the mind. It's crazy. It's so good at being illusion, but it's not just a matrix of the mind. It's a matrix of all feelings. Like there's no feeling that's telling the truth either, because all they are is simply indications to objects. They don't mean a reality. So they're indications. So if there's fear, it means there's something that's scary, but we get all confused because we imagine something that's scary and then we feel fear. But we have all these feelings and we think they're reality, but they're simply a sensation coming in. So there's heartache and we think it's a reality, or there's a seeking for something, or there's a wanting for something, and we take that to be real. But it's simply a sensation appearing, which has come with a title of I want something, or I need something, or I want to go somewhere. And it's an image also of ourself as something. So we imagine ourselves, and then we imagine ourselves going to that place. And we're always living in that world, and it's totally illusory. What is real is that essence, and the essence is so strong and powerful and beautiful. That's what looks at each other now as essence. Essence is being so creative, it's taking Carl's position and Lisa's position and looking simultaneously at both. At both ways at itself. It's creating the whole room, and that's who's speaking now, that's who's looking now, that's who you truly are, beyond your ideas and your beliefs about yourself. So this isn't, when I'm negative and I'm cutting off the head, I don't mean this in a passive, oh, there is nobody depressive way. I'm trying to point out something that's miraculous, that's so powerful, that is the whole entire universe. It's creating this experience at the moment. It's experiencing itself through apparent time and space. Amazing.
Oh, there's just nothing to say. There's nothing to say then.
No. And what happens is, it's not your doing or my doing, but that energy which keeps trying to hold on to something hears these sorts of things, and seemingly over time it gets less and less able to grab onto a position, because there is no position of you. No position. And it's always trying to find a position, and this and that. And it's so subtle, you can't even notice that you're doing it.
Yes.
Even the one that's noticing that it's trying to do it is another position, but yet all of it's appearing. All of it's appearing. And anything that appears isn't the experiencer. Yet all of it's the experiencer, but no one thing. So you can 100% guarantee that anything you think about yourself, feel about yourself, or think you know about life isn't true, because it's an experience that will come and go in life. The truth is the happening. The truth is that boundless, spontaneous energy that's creating now. Only ever now. It's total love. And all answers are answered here. Everything's answered here. This is totally complete. There's nothing that's not known.
You said, I didn't quite hear the word answer proof.
I think I was saying, I don't know, sometimes I get my words all back to front, but I was trying to say that everything is answered here. There are no questions.
Oh, answered here.
Yeah.
I see.
But I get all back to front sometimes.
I like that though.
Everything. There's no questions here. The essence is never questioning itself. It's just expressing itself. Like an artist, a true artist.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's love. It doesn't feel like love when we imagine ourselves as something, because then it's like my parents' dog just died, and if you identify with the objects, then you think that something fell out of reality, that something disappeared, but it can't disappear. There's nothing that can disappear. There is only one energy expressing itself, but we get caught up on appearances and we say, okay, there is this appearance, and that's what makes up life, and that's what's real.
Wow. It's so strange and disorienting to have this sensation of like something want to grasp what you're saying, but it's like grabbing smoke. It's just nothing.
Nothing. Anything that appears cannot be it. It's so fantastic. I love it. But yet everything that appears is it, but no one thing. So there is nothing we can hold to. I always used to think it was about getting somewhere. Always. Always. Even when I heard it again and again, I always thought that something could get somewhere. But this is an impossibility. It's nothing gets nowhere. It's impossible for something to get somewhere, because then that means the separation. It's a collapsing of a false illusion that's dividing.
So there's this thought then, well, what about this tension that's here?
Yeah.
What about this
Well,
tension?
when you feel separate, and this is just for me to contradict myself, but when you do feel separate, there can be, when you feel like you can move your attention, it's not really you, but that's the way it appears. So it appears like the separate self is moving the attention. There can always be an exploration of this tension. Often while awakening's happening, there is great tension in the body because all of these it's like for many years what you've been doing is you've been living a lie and you've gone more and more to live in your head. So you've not been, even though in one way you have been the true expression, in another way there's been this energy which is always trying to stop Carl be Carl. It's always been trying to control Carl, and it's felt uncomfortable not being Carl, being in situations where you couldn't be Carl, where you had to sit for 8 hours listening to a teacher, or you had to do all these different things. So the energy became more and more contracted. So then what happens is the energy went up to the head and just lived in thought land, and it ignored the body, but the body was in pain. The body was indicating there's something wrong here, this isn't right doing this. But Carl didn't trust itself, or it didn't do anything, so it just lived up here in imagination. And he kept imagining a better experience, getting to another experience. When waking up happens, this begins to collapse, this energy of just staying up here, and then the pain that's been repressed, that energy which has been caught inside the body for many years, begins to express itself and begins to come out of the body. And it's really, really painful, that coming back to life again. But it just has to be sat through. It's not somebody sitting through, but there just has to be a letting of that uncomfortable energy. If you think how many years you've faked being you, and how many years you've tried not to express yourself and pushed down, and somebody's been rude to you, and instead of saying fuck off, you've been like, oh no, sorry, that's not a problem. You've been nice. Even in spirituality, we become something else than what we are. And it doesn't, we think that waking up is, we think of it as an image of the Buddha sitting there still. But that's the emptiness side. The expression side is the image of Kali that dances and's wild with her wild faces and expressions. And so we, as individuals, then try to repress ourselves and live up in the head again. And we try to become like the still Buddha. Because we think if we're the still Buddha, then we won't feel all these emotions and we won't have all these challenges. If we can be blank, then there's nobody that we'll ever fight with. There's nothing we'll ever fight with. But it's not about not fighting. Fighting is part of the not fighting as such, but it's not about being dead. It's just that when somebody's there not claiming it, you're not fighting or not fighting. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a slight bit of difference if there is anger arising and I'm going, sod off, I don't like you, or if I'm sitting there like, I love everyone. It doesn't make the slightest bit of difference. That's the freedom, when that energy moves to it. And then the expression of the body can be the true expression of the body, like you were when you were a kid. Like the kid just expressed itself. But this is incredibly scary because you've been told so many times that you will only be loved if you act a certain way. So when waking up happens, this darkness does come out of this body. All the times that you have tried to be something else than you are, and it's hurt you physically. It's made you feel sick, pushing everything down. When the kid feels uncomfortable, it'll just get up and spin and let that energy out or run round. Whereas you'll sit there and keep pushing it down. And it's not your fault in any way. It's the way society trained its robots. And really, we've been trained to be production machines in the most crazy way, to produce. Like, out of all the things it could have thought to do, why producing? Obviously to survive, but I mean, it's quite a shallow thing that it's produced. It's made us live to, and it's all about producing and repressing everything so we can sit on the production line and keep producing. And it makes us feel so uncomfortable. So then when that energy stops seeking in time and stops seeking in the imagination for relief, pain comes out of the body. And so when that's happening, just explore the pain. None of it's you. There can be that person that feels like it's you, that is the illusion, but isn't controlling things and isn't you, but's appearing in this. That illusory person can just move its attention and explore that tension. You can just explore the difficulties that are happening in the body. It doesn't want to do that though. It's like, oh.
That's what comes up, is that sense of, there's been even a number of years of doing that, and almost like the exhaustion of trying to process pain.
But it doesn't. But it shouldn't be done with the idea of getting somewhere. Well, it can be done with whatever, but it's not about getting somewhere. It's really not about it looking somewhere. It's just it's coming up. It's just it's coming out. It's just happening.
Yep.
So that that idea of I've been doing it for years, everybody's like that. Everybody says that to me. If I ever express doing anything, but I've been doing this for so long. How many more years? It's just the victim mentality coming up. So now it takes the position of being victim. I've done this for many years. And then it just plays in that game for a while. It just needs to come out of the body. This immense discomfort. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to keep recreating your identity and living in your head, which is okay. It will pass. It will eventually wear itself out. But what is 2 years in eternity? What is 10 years in eternity? Or even if you think of 10,000 years of human evolution, what is a couple of years of this exploration? And then ultimately it's never happening. Who is that you're even imagining?
Oh my. Wow. It's incredible. Oh. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, it's a pleasure,
It's
Carl.
beautiful.
Lovely to speak with you again.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark. I'm just going to go to the toilet. Say, hey Mark, I'm free to chat about variousness. Okay, I'll be done. Sorry, last message was a script to be finished to Japan. Okay. Can you have too much mystery? How does one become tolerant of material friends, or just be tolerant? I'd like to play some electric drums with you. With enlightenment and the drums, can you? Hey Ramona. Hi Mocox. Lisa, why does the mind sometimes seem to behave like an entity with intent? It seems to fight back when I ignore it or inquire into the nature of self. The mind does as the mind does. The sky does as the sky does. If it rains, it rains. If it's sunny, it's sunny. It's blue, it's blue. The reason why the mind is fighting is because it's seeking for something. It's so simple. It's seeking for life to be a certain way. So it fights. It's not even aware of what it's seeking for. To it, it seems normal. I don't mean fighting as in response, like there can be arguments, there can be debates, and there can be this is the right way or this is the right way. But I mean like the suffering sense, that sense of contraction comes from or always trying to get love from the timeline, always trying to find yourself in the timeline, always trying to escape pain in the timeline. You can't, it's a happening. It is a happening. But just so you don't feel too overwhelmed by emotions, because I know that some people that listen to these talks, you know, they're really identified with their emotions and feelings. There can always be an exploration of the emotions and feelings. You can, when you feel separate and you feel like you're a seeker, you can move your attention onto those uncomfortable feelings. So when you're fighting with someone, like, and you're fighting and you feel really uncomfortable, so you're fighting and there's discomfort, you can move your attention to those feelings and you'll see underneath what you think. So say if somebody's been really rude to you and you're fighting with them about that, you can move the attention to the feelings and see that really where all of that struggle is coming from, the reason that you feel uncomfortable is there's always a sensation at the bottom of things that you aren't enough, that you're not valid, that you are lost or lost something in a way, and that you're afraid. So if you're really trying to fight to maintain your identity and prove to someone you're something and you're really feeling uncomfortable, because I can fight with people, but when I fight with people, it's not coming from a place of seeking, it's a different energy. So there can be fighting without seeking, but when you feel that clamp, that seeking, suffering energy, then you can explore it and you'll see that it's coming from a place of lack. When I fight, believe it or not that I really fight, I'm actually nice most of the time, but when I fight, never comes from a lack. I'm never trying to complete myself in time. But you'll notice that you're struggling so much because you're always trying to complete yourself. No one's going to complete you. Whether they tell you you're good or bad, it doesn't matter. You like the good. You get pleasure when you're told you're good, and you get pain when you're told you're bad. But this is nothing. That's not the end of seeking. This is just pain and pleasure. It's a trickery. There is somebody there that's judging that pain and pleasure and wanting to manipulate it into something. Wanting it to be a certain way. This is the life. Oh, sorry. Hey Johnny, you're becoming more and more successful. It's got 100 views. Johnny, bravo. Hi NEV, nice to see you. Forgive me if I seem to be neurotically hanging on with this. I refer back to my question last week when I said I admire and admired and envied your apparent ability to let things come and go, and how it helped me realize my own tendency to neurotically hold on to stuff. I really appreciate your reply, it was so helpful. Hope you can remember. I can't. However, you seem to think I was projecting an idealism Lisa character onto you when I said this, but I wasn't. I'm sure you can swear for England like the best of us. No, you were. You are still now. You still see yourself as something and me as something. When you truly see me, you'll see nothing. That's when I'll be complimented by you. However, you seem to think I was projecting. I also realised my comment wasn't coming from an awakened state, and that the way I perceive you might be a bit distorted and delusional. Yes. I also realised I see things in a dualistic or separated way, and that you were just trying to be helpful when pointing this out. But I just wanted to qualify that I meant last week, i.e. you simply helped me realise a neurotic tendency that I have. I didn't necessarily see you as being consistent or perfect when I said this. It doesn't matter if you see me as consistent or perfect. If you see me as brilliant or as an asshole, it doesn't. They're both just projections. When you see me as nothing, I will then be complimented. Or you see me as love. Do you think... One more interesting thing you said was you always felt I was a male, but on the occasion you got a sense of the feminine coming through. Do you think this might be because I used the word neurotic and the context in which I used it? Just a thought. Hope that didn't sound sexist. Anyway, thanks for answering my question so fully, Lisa. Vinny. Yeah, sure, maybe, I don't know. I'm sure we're all sexist. We're all sexist, we're all racist. We come from the humanity. Hi, Stefan. Just listen, Stefan, and you can just play the beads that I suggested last week. Hi, Unreal Dream. Hi, Lisa. Really enjoying listening to you. Thanks. How do you know that the love and energy that you feel is not because of your contact with people and how you live your life? How do you know that if you will be in complete isolation for a while, you will still feel the love? Unreal Dream. I see you've only got one friend, Unreal Dream. So you've obviously friended just me with this account, your secret account. You don't want me to know who you are. Unreal. And I'm your only friend. Why would you think that I haven't lived in complete isolation? But that doesn't matter. And it's not a love that I feel. All feelings, everything comes and goes. Everything comes and goes. If you think that that freedom, Unreal, is a thing, then you're not listening to what I'm saying. It's not a thing. What's present, what is, that's never left? What is there that's never absent? What is always here? All feelings, all sensations, all ideas, all being alone and not being alone come and go. What doesn't come and go? Hey, Lukesh. A part of the exploration of the feelings, does one become aware of the sensation of feelings, where it is? How does one stop from making a story and identity out of it? Oh, we always love to make dramas. Well, you can just put your attention down there and have an exploration. Just do it differently every time, or do it the same. Just move the attention down there and let it have a speak. I hate this, I love this, I want her, I don't want her, I want him, I don't want him. Just move the attention down into the body of an exploration. I want to heal myself, I want this over with. How do I know I'll get this? How do I know I'll get this? When will it lead me to this? When will it lead me to that? When will I get there? When will I won't not? Back and forwards, up and down. Some people are saying that having problems, if you have problems, always refresh. So just refresh the tea. Refresh. Blank. So you can just put the tension in the body. But see that the one that's moving its attention in the body is appearing in that presence. It appears from a mystery. It doesn't indicate a location. You're not there. The you that feels like it's moving attention is appearing in presence. And that you can have an exploration around the body, feel the different chakra centers and the contracted energy or the uncontracted energy, what it has, what it doesn't have, what it lacks, what it wants. But all of that person that's looking at the different experiences in the body is an experience appearing in presence. That person doesn't wake up. That person is something that comes and goes in that which is always present, that which is always free, that which is boundless, endless. It's so beautiful. And the nature of everything is totally empty, totally still, and full of all things at the same time. And it's not located. It seems to be looking through a body at itself, but ultimately it's not located. All things are knowing themselves. There's not something separate knowing them, even though it seems to have a position. Hey Susan, hi Lisa, thanks for your note. I will make, well, I can feel divinity in the quiet, but not in the chaos. I contract in chaos. Yeah. I don't want this, I don't want this. To see that person that doesn't want it, that energy that doesn't want it, is appearing in freedom. Master Lisa, we need you to be smart one here. Ultimately, I'm looking. Hey, Dad.
Hello. Hope you got a bit of wood to stop it blowing shut.
Yeah. I'm just doing a session, but you can come and get
Sorry?
fruit. I'm just doing a session, but you can do fruit.
Oh,
Get
no,
fruit if
no,
you
no,
want.
no.
Can you just check that Khaleesi's still in the garden for me? Thank you. I locked her out because she was a bit mean to Muttley.
Okay.
Ultimately, I'm looking for help. The voices that drive me nuts. Who is it that they drive nuts? That person that you think's being driven nuts is an experience appearing in presence. That person that you think's going nuts never experiences a thing. It is an experience. Regardless of what is known along the spiritual journey, and can't tell what others are going through, since we are all seeking enlightened responses, and that can't be a good sign in my book. Well, good, bad, up, down, right, wrong. And there's something that knows that has no judgment. Romina. Hi, Romina. Hi, Lisa. Could you talk about grief and why we feel that everything collapses when we lose a loved one? Thank you. Just because you feel like you're in relationship with them. It's the same as the Cassidy. Mr. Cass. He is now simply a thought appearing. Mr. Cassidy is my parents' dog that died. If you've watched me before, and especially in the last month, you've most probably seen him a lot. I was looking after 3 dogs, and he died at the weekend. And so we have this most amazing ability. So what I notice is like when I go to feed the dogs, the other two dogs, or when we go to go out walkies, or we just got a delivery of his food, there is the image of Cassidy that pops up. Now Khaleesi, she doesn't have that. She can't miss an image because her brain doesn't function like that. But I notice she looks for him. So she looks around the house for him, which is cute. So she's looking for Cassidy. But she can't imagine that he's missing. Whereas the human can. But this is simply an image. But everything is image, everything is trickery. He's really made of that same presence. So right now, he is not here. Khaleesi's not here, but it's that same presence in a different formation. We think and we imagine him as that body, which he never was that body. That body was dead, always dead. What was alive was the presence that was looking through it. And we think that that body's died and gone somewhere else and that we lost something. So then we're like, where did he go? Where did Cassidy go? The body stopped moving and presence took a new perspective, looked through something else, looked through another object. But he didn't die because there was no him in there. There was presence looking through a dead instrument. That instrument wasn't separately alive, but it doesn't mean there's not sadness and grief. So I've had some cries. Oh, the Cassie, Mr. Cass. Particularly, I think, because I've looked after him for the last month, and so I was with him every day. I think if I had been in France, been away, I'd be less there'll be less attention that goes there. I forgot what we were even talking about. Oh, Mr. Cascas. Yeah. So he never was alive. You never looked at Cassidy. You looked at a pattern that Cassidy produced. It was like a robot playing, and you looked at a pattern that he produced, or whoever you're imagining died, and you believed that was someone. That's how it's meant to look in the dream. But really, there was nobody there. You were looking at yourself as that presence, always, as that beingness. Everywhere you look, everywhere you go is that aliveness, is that presence, is that full stop. And that was the same presence looking back. It's just it looks through different instruments. And I know you think as who you are, so as Mark or Lisa or whatever, but you should then interpret the experiences of Cassidy. But this body is only meant to interpret the experiences of this body, not of Cassidy's body as well. Presence is looking through these different objects, having seemingly separate experiences, but ultimately it's not. I know it seems confusing. It's like a paper bag with lots of holes in it, and you put that light, and it's that one light coming through every hole, but each hole individually is claiming this is my experience, this is my separate experience. Some people are saying there's been problems with the Ustream tonight. Sorry, guys. I think that there's been problems with the internet in the UK. I read on the news. Yes, there is a place, Hamid. Hi, Hamid. My name is Hamid, and I just found out your YouTube channel and about your live stream. I've been working with self-development for years and recently introduced to enlightenment and spirituality. When people find out about new things, either they start to read and listen to so many gurus, or they try to take action and learn themselves and just go to a teacher for guidance. What actions do you recommend to make me move towards more self-awareness rather than watch lots of videos or reading lots of articles, basically showering with information? There has to be a questioning of who you think it is that's going to get somewhere. It doesn't matter reading books or not reading books or lots of videos or not, but who do you think is the person that's going to get enlightened? So this information is reporting, and it's saying, I'm somebody inside here. I belong inside here. I'm here, and that's who I am. And you're someone there. And who I am is a collection of my thoughts, my feelings, my body, my past actions, and my future actions. But all of this is something that's subject to change and always coming and going. But there's something that's here, that's always been here, that never came and went. So if we just talk about this body's life, because this body tends to only have the memory of this body's life, your essence was the same when you were 1 or 2 as to now. Even though the body's aged and the body's changed and your ideas have grown and developed and more experiences and remembered, that essence, that sense of being is still the same. And what happens in waking up, in liberation, is there's a shift from being that tight identified person to feeling like you're alive and that you're separate and you're an individual, to that beingness which is not bound inside the body and is everything and everywhere. And the person comes and goes in that. And it's not necessarily about getting over traumas or releasing emotions or past emotions, although a lot of those things tend to fall away. And I do recommend doing that well, doing self-inquiry, because a lot of people have picked up really negative patterns because they've based their life on an illusion. So I do recommend to tidy your cage while you're listening to non-duality. Not because it's going to get you more to non-duality, but because if you keep on living in that illusion, you're going to keep making that cage tighter and tighter and tighter and more uncomfortable. So to look into your traumas and your habits and your perception is a really healthy thing, I think. Much better than trying to drink yourself out of yourself or work yourself out of yourself. And so often in non-duality, the way that the exploration happens and the illusion pops is often there's a going to a speaker and there's an energetic resonance with what they're saying. And then also intellectually, the words seemingly are deconstructing things in time as well. So those two things happen. And the energetic resonance is an instant thing that is remembering that presence that's here. And it feels like love. So when I'm speaking to you and there's a sensation of love coming up, That's what it feels like. And then there's also a bit of speaking to the person and speaking to the body and changing the intellectual ideas and the information that's in the body. The most important part is the resonance with that love, with that presence. And that beginning to come forward and shine through, rather than being hidden under this tight energy of me. Hey Jessie, I love you too. Hi Laura, I love you as well.
Because I like you so much.
Hey Nick. Hey Peta. Hey Kevin. I just have so many people to speak to, Kevin, and I have lots of other questions to get through, and we've spoken lots. So I just, until I'm done with them, I'll come. When I'm done with them, I'll come back and we can speak. Hey Unreal Dream. I never use Skype, so I set it up especially for this. I'm shy to talk. That's okay, Unreal Dream. Oh, but this question was not meant to doubt you. I just know in my case from experience that after a while in isolation I feel sad without energy, even the body is weaker. There is no aliveness, music and food are less enjoyable. Would it happen in your case? I never know what's going to be what. But before I've been in England, I was in France by myself for a couple of months. Very remote. And I lived for 3.5 years in a very remote area outside of Australia as well. And I always found it very beautiful. I think the reason why it's difficult for you is because, well, the time in Australia was before I woke up, so there was suffering there. The reason that there's most probably suffering for you is because you get a lot of your freedom from people. You feel a lot of freedom from people, even though you're maybe not aware of it. And so when there's no people around, you've got nobody to be. And so that energy isn't getting any pleasure. So it begins to get depressed. But that will change. Everything always changes. It's to be expected to find interacting with people really awkward or coming to terms with the fact that you're not at all the person you thought you were. That's it. The person I thought I was doesn't really exist. I don't know how to be around people a lot of the time these days, especially family. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, and there can just continuously be an exploration of what's being felt when you're in that situation and when you feel separate. Yeah, it's so different. And the personality changes a lot, and a lot of the time, a lot of people and family and friends fall away. So being in the body means feel the feelings instead of thinking about them. What I mean by that, feel the feelings, is often what we're doing on the conscious level is we're acting out from what we feel. So we feel separate, and we have a seeking, so we feel anger, say, and discomfort. And so then the conscious story that comes up is a projection onto somebody. So somebody's done something bad to us, and then they've done something bad to us, and we feel upset because of them, and we wouldn't be upset if it wasn't because of them. So we always live on that conscious level, the top level. And so when I say feel your feelings, I'm just saying explore the seeking energy that's underneath what you think reality to be. Because your construction of reality is always about trying to find the maximum amount of pleasure, which is going to be a really, really bizarre construction of reality. But that's what the seeker's doing. It's always looking for its best position to make itself feel the best, even if it's a negative one, and always trying to make itself feel negative. It's not really meaning to do that. It's trying to make itself feel good. It's bizarre. So say if it's worrying a lot, it's actually trying to find the end to that discomfort by worrying. It's just wrongly informed and made a whole life based on an illusion. So when I say feel the feelings, I'm trying to point out to that which is underneath the surface level. So when you're caught up in a story, just going down and seeing what you're actually wanting, what you actually want. So when you're being really nice to someone, you realize that you're trying to get love from them. Or when you're being really horrible to them, you're trying to get love from them. It's normally always about love or security. But this isn't an intellectual thing, it's just seeing the dynamics of that separate energy. It's always, always trying to put itself in freedom. And in trying to put itself in freedom in time, it gets more and more neurotic. Hey, Tanya. Hi, Lisa. I'm listening and have the idea, this is Tanya, that it's grace that dissolves the separate self. Yes? But there's a lot of tidying going on in this cage currently. What is dissolving the self? Grace or continuously tidying the cage? Is it one and the same? One seems like there is choice, and one seems like divine intervention. It's the same. It seems like you're tidying the cage, but really there is no you there tidying the cage. That you that feels like it's tidying is an illusion. It's appearing just like the wind and the sun shining, saying I'm tidying the cage or I'm making myself feel better. But really all of it's happening in presence, and presence is creating everything. Hi, Ramon. Good to hear. The broadcast is good there. Oh, how is your mum, by the way, Ramon? Hi, Asborn. Thanks for the great retreat in London. Sending a picture. Oh, nice. Thanks for sending that picture. Always forget to take pictures. Huh. Thanks, Tanya. How did Cassidy die? He seemed young. Oh no, he was like 13. He died of the cancer. Often the big dogs die from the cancer. Hi, Ustream is fine in Australia. Oh, good, Steve. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. That was lovely sharing with you, as always. The next session will be on Sunday at 5 p.m. UK time. So I'll be here this Sunday, and I'll be here next Wednesday, and then after that I will be having a couple of weeks off. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.